Some people feel most alive in the quiet corners of their own homes. They don't chase noisy streets or the energy of strangers. They don't search for applause or the thrill of being seen. Instead, they find comfort in familiar walls, in soft stillness, in the gentle rhythm of their own breath. To outsiders, they may look like they're avoiding life, but the truth is, they're simply living it differently, intentionally, softly, and with depth. They're not running from the world, they're running toward peace. There is real psychology behind this. Research shows that people who love staying home often have vivid inner worlds. Their thoughts, memories, emotions, and ideas aren't quiet, they're alive. Home isn't a hiding place for them. It's a sanctuary where their imagination has room to move, where their internal life has space to breathe. Psychologists call this high internal self-presence, the ability to feel more connected to one's inner world than the outer one. They don't need noise to feel joy. A warm drink, a quiet window, or the sound of a turning page can bring a fulfillment that others chase in distant places. Their hearts don't race in crowds. They steady themselves in silence.
It wasn't always like this. Many of them tried at some point to keep up with the rushing world. They tried to match the energy of friends who loved noise, parties, or constant movement. But eventually, they realized something. Their calm wasn't a flaw. Their solitude wasn't a weakness. It was simply who they were. The moment that realization clicked, everything softened. They understood they didn't need noise to feel alive. They didn't need crowds to feel connected. Peace became not an escape, but a way of living. People who prefer staying home share a unique trait: introspection. They think deeply. Small moments become stories. Ordinary days become meaning. Their emotions move with full clarity. Joy becomes richer. Sadness becomes art, and hope becomes direction. They don't rush their feelings just to keep up with the pace around them. They take time to understand themselves. Studies even show that people who choose solitude often score higher in creativity, emotional intelligence, and empathy. Their quiet gives them the ability to notice what others overlook. They understand people deeply, even if they are not always understood themselves. But the world mislabels them.
You're missing out. You should go out more. Don't you get bored? These words sting because they imply that something is wrong with them. Yet, some of the greatest thinkers and artists were homebodies, individuals who didn't need crowds to create or connect. They found meaning in silence and changed the world from their rooms. Silence teaches things noise cannot. It teaches patience. It sharpens observation. It reveals a strength that doesn't need attention to exist. And sometimes, the reason home feels safe is simple. The world can be overstimulating. Noise, chaos, emotional unpredictability. Some people's nervous systems react to these things intensely. Home gives them control over their environment, and that control creates peace. For others, it's about emotional safety. They open their hearts slowly and carefully, not because they're cold, but because they feel everything deeply. And sometimes, it's not trauma or fear at all. It's just preference, a quiet choice to spend time in a space that feels warm and familiar. They have hobbies that don't require a crowd: reading, gaming, painting, creating worlds inside their own minds. Joy becomes a quiet ritual instead of a loud celebration. Happiness becomes something measured in moments, not events.
There is also a secret they rarely say out loud. They love deeply, quietly, completely. When distractions fade, the heart learns how to focus. They notice everything: the pause in someone's voice, the emotion behind someone's silence, the things others move too fast to see. If you are someone who loves staying home, you might have wondered if something about you needs fixing. You might have questioned why crowds drain you, or why you crave quiet when others crave noise. But what if nothing is wrong with you at all? What if the world simply hasn't learned to appreciate your depth yet? Your quiet is powerful. Your stillness holds meaning. Your solitude is not a burden, it is a gift. Many home-loving people are not avoiding life, they're living it with intention. They don't want shallow conversations or empty chaos. They want authenticity, meaning, and connection that feels real. Psychologists say people who prefer solitude tend to be highly self-aware. They know what nourishes them and what drains them. They recognize their own emotions with unusual clarity. That is emotional maturity many people spend their whole lives searching for. And no, choosing solitude doesn't mean you never get lonely. Loneliness and solitude are not the same. Loneliness is the absence of connection. Solitude is the presence of yourself. A person can feel lonely in a crowded room, but solitude gives strength. For some, home became precious because the world once disappointed them. A betrayal, a broken trust, a moment when their feelings overwhelmed someone else. So they built a place where they didn't have to apologize for their depth. Home became the one space where they could simply exist.
But loving home doesn't mean your dreams are small. They're just internal. You want meaning, not attention. You want understanding, not noise. You don't want 100 people cheering. You want one person who truly sees you. Home is the place where you don't have to perform. The one place where exhaustion melts into calm, where judgment doesn't exist. Some days you look out the window and watch the world rush by, and you quietly smile because you know your treasures are not out there. They are inside. Society glorifies constant motion, as if stillness is failure and rest is laziness. But you know what? Rest is part of growth. Stillness is part of clarity. Silence is part of healing. You're not pausing your life by staying home. You're observing, learning, becoming. People like you love with intentionality. If someone matters to you, they truly matter. You give loyalty and gentleness in ways most people are too distracted to offer. You notice emotions not just through words, but through pauses, gestures, and energy. You have a rare kind of emotional strength, quiet, steady, and deep. And the most overlooked trait of all, self-companionship. You don't fear your own thoughts. You don't run from your emotions. You can sit with yourself and still feel whole. That isn't loneliness. That is self-connection.
So let me tell you clearly, nothing about you is wrong. You are not unambitious. You are not fragile. You are not falling behind. You are building a life that doesn't drain your soul. And when the time comes, when the world feels a little softer, you'll step out by choice, not pressure. And the outside will feel more beautiful because you honored your own pace. Until then, sip your warm drink slowly. Keep nurturing the worlds in your mind. Keep choosing peace. Keep loving quietly, but deeply. Because people like you, the ones who love staying home, are the ones who make the world feel like home.
If this spoke to you, if you've ever felt misunderstood for choosing quiet over chaos, if you finally feel seen after watching this, tell me in the comments, are you a homebody at heart? I want to read your story. If this message made you feel understood, like the video to support more people like you. Share it with someone who needs to hear this. Comment, I choose peace, if you felt this deeply. Save this for the days you doubt yourself. And if you want more calm, meaningful content, subscribe and follow. You belong here. Because the world needs more people like you. More soft souls, more quiet hearts, more homes disguised as humans.